Marketing will never fix a broken business. It's just going to amplify and overexpose the reality.
Most businesses don't have a lead problem. They have a sales conversion problem.
If you're looking for leads, you're obviously not where you want to be.
The person that's better than you is the one that just marketed better and they systemized better than you.
If you're nervous to ask for a Google review, why? Just start there and then fix the answer to that why.
That is also a very, very revealing statistic sometimes in marketing. The chances of actually converting that person is really low.
I'm sorry, you're wasting your time.
So a lot of businesses think that leads is the problem in their business when doing marketing. When reality is, when we look at a marketing system, we need to think of it as a system, just like any kind of other function in a business. So when we think about a marketing system, what we're really trying to think about is like, all right, well, we've got our website, we've got our Google reviews, we've got our content, we've got our Google ads, we've got our Facebook ads. Like we have all of this whole system that we're trying to do in order to be able to create that system in a business to succeed. And the problem is like when you're thinking about it, there's always a bottleneck in that whole system, because it's like, how much manpower do you have? How many hours do you have in your day to actually keep on track of all that kind of stuff? So where a lot of business owners get hooked up in is thinking that, all right, well, I want to get a lead. It's always the first objective, right? I want to get a lead. Actually, the objective is always, I want to make more money. I want to take my business to that next level. Now, we all know without sales, businesses are dead. We know that concept. Most business owners know that if we don't have sales coming in. But what we fail to realize is like we really have two kind of avenues for a business to be able to generate that. I think the most important one, especially in getting your business out of the ground and into a functioning business, is always the word of mouth inquiries. And you can quite quickly see how good a business is based upon its word of mouth inquiries.
Yep.
Like whenever we see a client, whenever we see business owners we've worked with, and they're always like, where are my leads, or where is this? It's like, well, where is your word of mouth?
Concerning.
Very concerning, because word of mouth is a reflection of how good your service is. Because if your service is good, then of course the people that are working with you are going to want to tell their friends, hey, look, XYZ got me this result this week. Or their friends like, how did you get to where you are in your business? Oh, well, I've been working with X. As a business owner and as a person that's trying to get to that next level, you're always trying to innovate and make sure that your service offering and what you deliver is actually a benefit to your customer. Are you giving them a status increase? Are you making them look more important than what they are? Are you giving them more money back? Like, what is it that you're actually doing to increase that? And how are you taking that person to the next level? And every product, every service, everything is different. But at the end of the day, sales is a value exchange. Offering is a value exchange. It's your opportunity to actually get that person to the next level, to get them to that next part in who they're becoming and what their business is becoming.
So what you're saying is the reality is that socials, marketing, front end is a multifaceted system that we can pull levers and leverage. But within that system, there's fragmentations that actually require specific attention to produce the output of a lead or a conversion, right? But even beyond that, that's one subset of the whole business. So it's like if you're not producing quality service, quality product, you're never going to fix. Like marketing will never fix a broken business. It's just going to amplify and overexpose the reality. So that's your first check, is those word of mouth. Where is it? Why isn't it existing? And start there, because marketing will amplify what you're doing. And it's going to be good or bad. It's going to show you either way as to whether you're really in tune and it's going to go further, or you've got work to do in a systemization perspective.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing is like, even in your staffing, like when you're growing your team and growing your staff, like it's like, how do you have metrics in place with your staff to actually know if they're doing a good job? Well, one of the businesses we have at the moment, like we've really worked on our staff being like, what is the metric that we can give our staff that incentivize them, like in a bonus structure or something that ensures us as owners that they're delivering a quality service and they're incentivized to deliver a quality service. Like most people aren't just going to get up each day and be like, man, I am so excited to deliver a really awesome job for my boss. Like, let's just face it.
That's not reality.
It's not reality. Most people want to do the bare minimum and get through their day and go home at night.
And that's being realistic from an employer perspective. Like if you're real about it, even as yourself as an employee, now a business owner, your own behavior. And that's what Deloitte was really big on from an audit perspective. It was going through not only the financial statements to see, where revenue could have been misappropriated, or sales or profitability, but it's looking at the drivers of behavior. And I guess you can see this from an employee perspective. You can also see this from a customer perspective. Like, what do you have in place that is driving behavior? Because from an employee standpoint, the KPIs, the bonuses, you can actually think it's going to get you one result and it leads you to a completely different direction. And that's the power of psychology in a business. It's understanding consumer, employee, personal behavior, being aware and systemizing and putting buffer and safety nets around that so that there is no chance that it's going to drive the wrong behavior and you're going to be kind of not delivering your best because your employees are actually incentivized to look like they're doing more or spinning their wheels because they want that bonus or they want to hit that target, and then they misappropriate the financials or assets or whatever. That's how you find fraud in a business, is finding what's the key drivers of behavior. And I guess it extends to marketing and it extends to business in general. As business owners, it's what do we put in place? What's the carrot that we're putting in front of people from all angles, and being aware of the realities of human nature and consumer behavior.
Yeah, and I think just by even as we've started off this episode with talking about we're not getting leads or we want leads.
Yeah.
And now we're kind of getting in beneath the surface of what it actually takes to get a lead. And the first step that any owner wants to do before they ever outsource agencies or outsource marketing is ensuring that their word of mouth is strong.
Totally.
You can see, we get hit with ads all the time, 30 leads in 30 days, or get this in XYZ amount of days. But the reality is, if you don't have sales process in place, or if you're not confident in selling your offering, if you don't have the service quality there, the chances of actually converting that person is really low. And then you go and spend all this money on marketing, and like you said before, marketing will never ever fix a broken business. Most businesses don't have a lead problem.
No.
They have a sales conversion problem. And it's being able to convert that lead into, that's why a lot of agencies wipe their hands clean once they get leads, because, and we see it all the time with business owners, ones that aren't willing to go that extra mile for a lead, the ones that don't have that word of mouth in, they really, really struggle.
Totally. And I think again, coming back to reality, if you're looking for leads, you're obviously not where you want to be. Simple as that. So it's understanding that within yourself and going, okay, well, I'm not in a place to be choosy. I'm not in a place to be yeah, I'll get 30 leads in 30 days and I'm going to get a 20%, 30% conversion rate. I'm all good. That's going to get my business to XYZ in revenue. It's no, you obviously have things that need to be developed within yourself, within your staff, within your service line and product. And once you do your own tests, you spend your own money, obviously, into front end, into word of mouth. It's a $20 Guzman and Gomez voucher to get a Google review. And you're picking up and you're doing your own market research. You're looking at every interaction with your clients as marketing, as research, as an opportunity to pick up on the language, pick up on the limiting beliefs. If you don't have that solid within yourself and you just offload and try to convey that to a marketing agency, the amount of conversations I've had with business owners that go, I'm who are you targeting? Oh, anybody. I had an accountant tell me, the good old adage of anyone with a pulse has a TFN. And it was
so bad.
We cast these broad nets and then we get nothing. And we're well, it's a marketing problem. It's but you don't even know who you're targeting. You haven't even had that awareness within yourself to go, all right, I'm noticing a trend within my own cohort of consumers. I'm noticing the language about vulnerability or wanting to be with their family is like such a common thread woven in, and that actually drives their consumer behavior in XYZ, and that means they're open to XYZ upsell or downsell. Or if you don't have that awareness as an owner, or you're not even curious in that and you just want to deliver, all you've got is maybe a better paying job than what you would be in the workplace. But if that's where you want to be, cool, no worries. But we're talking about people that are obsessed with understanding the ins and outs and growing business, not just wipe my hand and outsource because it's easy and I'm going to convert straight away. It's not the reality. You're going to spend and burn your money, so you may as well keep it and have a greater awareness and an excitement and an enthusiasm, because it's amazing. Once you start seeing every client conversation as research,
yeah.
It is so, so powerful, and you'll be like, you will change as an individual, as a leader, as a place of influence. You will change how you approach things. You'll change how you see every interaction, how people interact with you trying to sell you something. It's so profound, but if you're not willing to take the time and you're happy to hang your hat on leads are my goal and revenue increase, but you've done absolutely nothing in the lead up to build and you're expecting an agency to do that for you, I'm sorry, you're wasting your time. You're better off getting a job and not worrying about the stress of business. I will say though, it is a good desire to want to increase your revenue. There's nothing wrong with wanting leads. It's the mechanism. How do we approach that practically? And if you're not doing everything you can within your control, like asking for Google reviews, you're at a dead end.
And that's the biggest point, right? Is not blaming marketing for the issue of your business. At the end of the day, someone said to me, the person that's better than you is the one that just marketed better and they systemized better than you. That's the only business owner that is better than you in your niche, in your area. The next person in that is just marketed better, systemized better. And same to that person, the person ahead of them is the one who marketed better and systemized better. So everything is marketing. I know you've said to me before, everything's content.
Everything.
So it's like the thing you don't want to do is blame it. Marketing is a reflection of how you're going.
It's a mirror.
It's a mirror. And it's either good or bad. And for a lot of people, it's bad for a long time. And you see every bit of content, every single ad, every single month. You got to see that as a test and an opportunity to get feedback on how you're doing. And that's why we're very, very big on word of mouth referrals. Because if you're doing a good job, people want to work with you. People want to tell their friends. It also reduces your acquisition costs for your business by getting other people to do a lot of the heavy lifting for you by telling their friends and stuff like that. The moral of the story is marketing doesn't fix a broken business. It just doesn't. A marketing agency doesn't fix a broken business. They can, like you might get the odd one, but most of the time they don't. And you don't want to blame marketing for it. Marketing is a reflection. If you sit together with an outsourced person or a marketing agency and you sit with them and you dream and you work out how we're best going to hit this strategy and we're both in alignment, this is our lane, this is your lane, you're responsible for these things, we're responsible for these things, and we're working together as a team to get you to your destination, then of course you can do that. But a lot of people aren't ready and then they get burnt by outsourcing because they do it too soon. And like you said, a lot of people can't even tell you who they're targeting. And that is extremely, extremely concerning.
We had a client that came to us after being burnt by an agency that they poured a lot of money into and time. We're talking like 1-2 years. And I guess the infrastructure, point blank, I could see immediately the targeting was all wrong. Looked good on paper, ticked the boxes. They had the great landing page and all the copy and the email marketing. And again, because there's so many components that you can leverage and pull as to how to target. This was an accountant looking to target a very specific industry, childcare. And every lead that agency got them was childcare centres, big tick, awesome. Childcare centres in Queensland, amazing, perfect, big tick, looking to get leads. Looking to fill their occupancy.
Actually looking to get leads.
Childcare centres that wanted help filling their books, not accounting.
Yeah.
So every call he had, He was so disappointed. Oh, they want me to improve their occupancy rates. They want me to help them market. Like, it was so frustrating because they weren't looking for accounting. They came to him, again, everything looking good on paper, but the ability to target and the ability to find that messaging that actually clicks with a childcare center owner that needs profitability, revenue, growth support from an accountancy perspective. A marketing agency couldn't explain accounting terminology in a way that could actually engage and resonate with people. So we fixed that. And now he's very, very happy. It's
Signing some good clients.
And but that's the beautiful lens of having a financial services background. But if I was a marketer with no understanding of the depth of financial services, it would be
the ability to do researching too.
That in-depth process that we don't deviate, where it's not up for negotiation. It's the requirement, and it's the step that requires so much time. It's not visible in the back end, and no one's willing to do because it is so in-depth and time-consuming. But it's the work that converts. But if you don't find an agency like that, you're going to spin your wheels for a very long time and be left with a book of leads. You get your leads.
And it was also what you said is being curious as an owner in those conversations, in your client meetings, and every time you meet them, you need to see every person as R&D, research and development, on how you can make your service offering clearer, sharper, more understanding, and being able to really reach that person. The last thing I wanted to touch on this episode is I want to give people some practical stuff that we can give them. It's like, if we implement some marketing systems into our business, whether we start off with content, whether we start off with Google profile, Google ads, meta ads, how do we identify, and we can process this together, but I just want to help people be able to identify, or whether they're working with an agency, I want people to be able to identify, how do we actually realize the blockages in the marketing, or how do we know what the problem actually is?
Yeah.
For business owners out there that have marketing in their business, how do we actually work out what the blockages are?
So we've developed a scorecard, which tells you point blank, but it's got a lot of like in-depth combination of, again, psychological behaviors, internal factors, external factors. There are things we can never control, like the market externally, like the economic situation we're currently in. Like, you will never be able to control things. That has an impact on consumer behavior to some extent. So this scorecard factors in that. But there are things within our immediate control that we can adapt and adhere to. I guess what you want to do is, there's so many options. There's too many options. And you could always be doing more and more and more and more. The reality is, what's within your grasp immediately? If you have clients, you can build your front end. You can ask them questions. You can assess why they signed with you, and then create a picture. So what does that look like? Google reviews, easy to get if you're doing a good job. If you're nervous to ask for a Google review, why? Like, just start there and then fix the answer to that why.
And also, if they're not willing to go out of their way for you to write a Google review,
why?
Why? Do you have that relationship with them? Have you built that rapport and the connection with the client? Have you actually done a good job, or are they actually silently unhappy and they're too scared to speak up about you?
You can fix that.
Easily.
You can fix that. You obviously have some sort of connection point, or they're happy with
It's not personal.
It's not personal. That's
personal.
The cool thing. It's actually not.
It's just a business issue that must be solved in order to go to the next level. And all of this stuff, and it's just getting beneath the surface, even down to a Google review.
Start there.
Start there.
Instead of trying to turn ads on and film content and run around, it's just like, okay, if you can say yes to that, let's move on to the next step.
Yeah.
But if it's a no, why?
And I think to touch on that, like, we have people come to us with no Google profile.
Yeah, it's insane.
All reviews as a service-based business. And then you go and look, or if they have reviews, they've had 7 in 5 years. So it's like, you think about a consumer behavior, and we talk about a funnel because we're trying to find blockages. When people bounce, right? Like, if you think about your own consumer behavior, especially the more money they're investing in you or paying for your service, they're going to bounce and really check you out, from Google profile to reading
Website.
reviews to getting on your website. How does
ChatGPT now. We've had
ChatGPT
clients
now?
go through. Yeah.
And you've got your social media, whatever platform you're kind of targeting based upon your audience. So people are bouncing. So you think about if you're bouncing, like we have owners at the moment we have owners that come to us and they don't have any reviews, or do they put any effort in there? And it really shows in their results. It really does show. But some of the businesses that we've invested in recently that have consistent reviews coming in, it's part of the KPIs and the team is getting reviews. People are actually coming to us and saying, I read your reviews.
Oh my gosh, it's insane.
In the inquiry thing.
Like
So,
they can almost quote back
yeah.
the reviews, and we're talking like almost hundreds of reviews.
Yes. And they come in most weeks, if not to 2 weeks. So we've all got fresh batch coming in of how happy people are with the service. We have strategies in place for that as well. So identifying the blockages, you can see how deep you can actually go on just one thing.
It's one question.
It's one question is just your Google profile and Google reviews. How's it doing? And as a small business owner, a person that wants to go to the next level, whether you're starting to hire, you need to be able to fill your team. Like you can't be paying salary. It's stressful. It's very, very stressful. Paying tax, paying GST, paying salary, and then also trying to grow and not having income coming in. That is the recipe for disaster and stress.
Totally. And I think the Google review question is not a question to say Google is the be all and end all and we're in love with Google, right? It's just very revealing.
It is very revealing.
And it's the best way to have an anchor point and fix before you get that mirror in your face for a reality check. Like you want to tick off what's in your immediate control and look your best, be your best internally so that you're positioned to actually go for growth and not for a very, very hard lesson.
The next thing I think people is really, really important to have a look at, and this is a simple thing that you can do, again, through Google, if you can, if not through your own website platform, is just have a look at how long people are spending on your site. I think it's a very, very simple metric to have a look at. Just log on, go to session times and have a look at the average time spent on your site. And that is also a very, very revealing statistic sometimes in marketing, because obviously the longer people spend, they're actually consuming what is on your site. And what's the point of a website? To me, it's just to convince someone to work with you.
It's basically to show you're legitimate and
show you're
facilitate
legitimate.
the process of capturing data,
Yeah,
which is
so
contact form.
just have a look at the session time on your site. And, you know, people can spend $5,000, $7,000, $10,000 on this beautiful site and they get a big agency to build it for them and they feel cool because it's got all these effects on it and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, have a look at how long someone spent on it.
And look at your mobile version.
Yes.
Because a lot of the time it's not even optimized for the mobile, and you'll see in your Google Analytics, it says 90% of your traffic is coming from the mobile.
From the mobile. So I think it's a very, very important thing because you want to get that time up so people are spending time on it. So it's like you got to ask yourself the question is every word on this page, is every page also, this is a bit confusing, but is every page also, and is every word purposeful? Does it actually benefit? Is it related to all of that deep work that I'm doing that we're just talking about, that we give you guys to help you? Is it actually related to what my consumer, the people that I want to work with, actually do and want? And it's a very, very important thing. And we can get further down the chain as we open up this channel and open up this space to talk honestly about business and help you. But already you can see how deep you can go just on a Google profile. It can expose so much of how you're actually doing. It's not personal.
No.
It's personal. It's not a personal reflection of you. And that's a big thing, is being able to separate yourself, who you are as a person, from your business. And you can change things quickly. Like quickly, you can implement stuff. You can have a couple of sleepless nights, smash out some work, get up early for a couple of weeks and smash out some work and make significant changes in your business, because you have to. We need to be cutting edge. We need to be the best because the next person's the best. And we're always kind of keeping up with the Joneses in the business until we find this tension point of like, hey, people love us. We're doing a great job. And we're so remembered that people come to us through word of mouth and new clients, that people are always coming to us. And that's what we're trying to achieve here in business.
The reality is business is not linear. It's not just get to A, B, and C. So you may have had prioritized other things and you feel like it's messy. You're going to be messy for a while, right? Until we have those two components that your competitors have on you, marketing and systemization. Two components that will transform. So if your dedication is to recognize within yourself, I'm not where I want to be, but I have a very clear objective. You have the vision. Now let's put legs to it in a systemized way. Because it's okay you've been messy to date, but if you keep operating that way, you're going to get the same result. So why even bother, right? But if you're asking yourselves, will I get a Google review if I ask from this client? I'm nervous. It's recognizing that within yourself. I'm not going to take it personally. I recognize I had to do what I did in the past to come this far. Now I'm leveling up. Now we're taking things to another standard, because I guarantee you have 3-4 different businesses with a very similar name to yours, with a very similar website, with no Google reviews. They're just ranked a little bit better. So how are you going to differentiate? How are you going to cut through that ceiling so it's not even a comparison? That's the standard we're going for. That's the standard we need to be at. So you need to ask yourself, it's actually a really personal journey. It's a lot to take on to alleviate that stress and not have self-worth questions within yourself. But how cool you're on this, and what an opportunity that not every employee or every person gets in their lifetime to actually recognize their flaws and own them and move forward, but change. And quickly.
I'm feeling motivated.
Let's go.
I'm Dan.
I'm Kat.
And we are obsessed with growing businesses.
We would love you to subscribe and come on the journey with us. We are going to be unpacking all our realizations to date and take you to that next level. It's really our heart behind what we're doing on this channel.
We really know it's hard out there. It's really tough on small business owners and business owners looking to go that next step. And we want to help you as much as we can. We'll see you in the next episode.